Rahobat Hau. Greetings, family. This is Ro again, back at it again with another edition of the Orbit Report. This week we have the Moon conjunct the North Node in Saturn. We got the full moon in Aries. We got Mercury going into deep and pure essence of Scorpio. We got the Moon Uranus conjunction. We got Venus opposing Saturn, and a lot more. Shit. The government is still shut down, and it seems like no one wants to budge. There's a lot of occurring in the world, and this video will help guide you through it this week. So, let's get to it!
Cookie cutter pie, fuck a pan. 3D printer Glock, couple band. Disappear, see it in my hand. Legal shooter, make them overstand. Half court, full court, state court, magistrate court, be the light. Nigga, who is you? Cause I forgot hit the booth and I go cool, cock
Transit breakdown. October 5th. As the moon travels through Pisces, it comes into a conjunction with the North Node, which is the collective coming into a faith/belief-based event that seems like it is unavoidable. I have a feeling that this is going to involve a group of people who shall not be named because I like my channel. However, I think y'all can hear what I'm putting down. What's interesting is that the moon will shortly after oppose Venus in Virgo, okay? This seems like whatever this event is stirs up our emotions and will be at odds with how we are currently coming into a critical form of loving. Almost like the event causes a conflict within ourselves that we have to analyze and be critical about. Our emotions are in conflict with how we love and find pleasure. Maybe some pleasurable beliefs and faith-based emotions are taken away, or maybe an attempt to be taken away, right? And I think this is possible because the moon conjunct Saturn late in the day, okay? And Saturn can cause restriction. With the ID coming out in the UK, I think there may, I think some other people are about to follow suit, potentially. We shall see. I think we are at the time where we start to see these technological advances speed up, okay? We may feel like we are in a cage and can't get out. However, I want it to be known that if we make the decision to be on a different timeline and take daily action steps to exist on that timeline, then we will avoid this, or at least on an individual level, right? I think some people may actually become stuck in the timeline that they are not happy with. I would make sure to be intentional with this time. Consistently stay consistent with being consistent, and you will have a higher chance of being in the timeline that you will want to be in. I do want to remind you that, like I said in previous videos, this is the planetary configuration that we just crossed, right? The one that we just crossed is akin to the planetary configuration that we had during the American Civil War and the American Revolutionary War. Please remember that. Please keep that in mind when you make your plans for the future, all right? We're not living through times where you can just pussyfoot around, all right? Them days is motherfucking gone. October 6th. Before we wake up, the moon conjunction Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries while creating a sextile with Uranus in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. And right before that, it creates an inconjunct with Mercury in Libra. So, excuse me, that was rude. Fuck it. So the order of events are, first, there is a crisis between our ability to be diplomatic while communicating in the population's emotions, okay? Almost like we will not be able to communicate our feelings appropriately for a quick second. Then right after, we will become more direct and potentially dangerously direct to the point to where we are being direct and heavily opinionated over something that we are being delusional over. And now we, as collective, sound like those people on TikTok who look crazy for just yelling at their cars over something that they couldn't control. Now, this aspect occurs very early in the AM, so you may not be awake for this. If you are in the Western Hemisphere, at least. If you're in the Eastern, you might experience this because you guys will be awake at this time period, right? Crazy enough, in the afternoon, Mercury goes into Scorpio. Gonna be an interesting time period. So judging from what happened when Mars went into Scorpio, wars and rumors of wars, right? I have a feeling that when Mercury goes into Scorpio, that the media is going to promote fear porn into the masses like a motherfucker. And that might be a good time to cover up some financial decisions. Let's keep it at that. From the markets. I think that we may start to see crazy headline after crazy headline after crazy headline talking about things that are out of our control. Mind you, that we are seemingly needed to be made aware of, even though it's just being used to incite fear. It may not happen on this day, but while Mercury is in Scorpio, which lasts for about 3 to 4 weeks, mark my words, there will be some fear porn in this motherfucker being activated as a distraction for something else happening in the background, like a motherfucker. Exactly what? I don't really know. I do think it might be a little bit financial, but also other stuff too. However, I don't think that we would be able to miss it because the following day, Mercury in conjunction Uranus and Gemini, creating a sudden crisis news event. Man, I would not be surprised if we get a huge war-type, truth-telling, humanitarianism provoking event. Okay, it will probably be heavily divisive for some and bring others together. I think this is where we start the process of the psychological split between the consciousnesses, whatever, to a point of no return. I would suspect that by the end of the Mercury in Scorpio, that those who have and still continue to do the work will be able to clearly see the divide and will receive it in a positive way. And everyone else will also see the divide, but they will focus on the devastation of it all. We shall see. October 7th. Today is the full moon in Aries, all right, my niggas? While simultaneously, Mercury in Scorpio squares Pluto in Aquarius by degree. Man, look. Excuse me, that was also rude. Fuck it. This is an in-your-face aggressive energy mixed with sneaky communication being utilized to facilitate a transformation of humanity as a whole. Okay? With the government shutdown last week, there seems to be tactics that media is using to create an atmosphere of, hey, we got this under control, but we really don't. Or, hey, we need you to complete this document for this reason, while in the background, it's for a completely other sinister type reason. This seems like a political debacle is at a climax, and now we, the population, are going to suffer the consequences. Now, this is not an individual reading, so I need you to see this from a planetary perspective, right? Not an individual. There are many events happening around the world that are not being shown in the media, all right? It's being hidden and kept secret, right? Now, I would say that it may not be being hidden on purpose. It could be by mistake. However, that doesn't change the outcome. Today feels like an explosive day, okay? I think we will find out some aspect of the secret warfare that has been going on because Mars has already traveled to 10 degrees of Scorpio, and now Mercury is coming through to broadcast what Mars had already destroyed and went through, right? Ransacked through, right? I also think that what we find out today will be traumatizing for some and healing from others. The Moon Chiron conjunction in Aries occurring late at night leads me to believe that the population's emotions will either enjoy what is occurring or will detest what is occurring. Basically, our understanding of the situation will be split and down the middle. Shit, what else is new about this bitch, right? October 8th. Early in the AM, the Moon in Taurus will oppose Mercury in Scorpio, creating a tension between the stability of our emotions and what the media is trying to keep a secret and be deceptive about. I think people will get explosive about what comes out of the news as a few hours later, the Moon opposes Mars in Scorpio. What seems to be a saving grace is that Venus in Virgo trines Jupiter in Cancer. However, we have to actively participate with it. You'll probably notice something, feeling like there's more love in that area of your life. Almost like a door opened and was like, come this way to reset your emotions. Today, feel a little emotional. So for those who don't like emotions, today may feel a little emotional. So for those who don't like emotions or whom have a hard time with their own emotions, today may potentially be a little heavy for you. Okay, even if you are okay with emotions, it just feels like intensely aggressive and secretive communication strategies being used to cause tension with the population's overstanding of their own value and stability. It just seems confusing today. We shall see. October 9th. As the day begins, the moon in Taurus comes into a sextile, becomes, into a sextile with the North Node in Pisces and an inconjunct with the Sun in Libra. This is the stable overstanding of our emotions in harmony with fated beliefs and dreams that are in a crisis with the political and social collective conscious awareness. In relation to the light force of the collective, there may be a divinely inspired critical routine that, in respect to said routine, will create a value proposition that will ground our emotions. These emotions, however, while being grounded, will be in jeopardy or at odds with the ego wanting to self-improve itself. And it's an interesting configuration indeed. Almost as if the collective society at large will be in a crisis mode with our emotions and our dreams. Now, this only occurs for a brief moment in the AM, but as the moon continues to travel through Taurus, it comes into a trine with Venus and Virgo. This is those aforementioned emotions being soothed and loved on critically and with detailed specificity, almost like our needs will be met for a brief period of time. Now, this applies to where Taurus is in your chart, so if you want to know where that is for you, head to the link in my bio and get your consultation today. October 10th. Most of us will be asleep when this occurs. However, the moon goes into Gemini and comes into a conjunction, wow, bad grammar, with Uranus at 0 degrees. This is the beginning of a revolutionary truth that our emotions over the past 28 days have now come into completion to, and now is resetting. Whenever the moon conjuncts a planet, it creates an activation, a triggering event, if you will. Right? There may be some words exchanged with someone through the airwaves, social media, or even in person that may be unconventional and potentially weird. However, this is a message that would do us well to pay attention to and keep over the next moon-Uranus cycle. Now, this occurs every 28 days, so if you look back to September 13th, you may see something similar occurring, right, that happened around that time period. Now, astrology is wild, motherfucker, because if you actually keep a diary, you can actually see how the cycles move in your life, right? And you can start by paying attention to the moon, right? And the planets it conjuncts in your natal/progress chart and the transiting planets. You will actually see a whole hell of a lot doing that shit. I'll suggest it. As the day moves on, the moon comes into an inconjunct with Mercury and Scorpio, right? Now, the events of this week that have seemed sneaky in nature may start to be ousted, okay? This is potentially where we start to feel the truth being communicated to us through the ethers, the media, or the people around us. Now, this occurs later, in the evening / at night, depending on where you are located on the planet, right? And this may have something to do with the Venus-Saturn opposition that occurs tomorrow, but we'll talk about that in the next video. October 11th. Now, this is the next video. As the moon continues its path around the zodiac, and yes, we say the zodiac because we smart, and we knows the difference between the zodiac and the constellations. Man, crazy. Anyway, the moon in Gemini comes into a trine with the sun in Libra. This is talk central city, all right? Blabbermouthing. Give the gap. The collective consciousness is able to remain in the social realm, be diplomatic, and still be able to communicate and emote truth and understanding to the population. This is a good energy to speak and talk to people. Just be aware of saying too much. While this is occurring, simultaneously, Venus in Virgo comes into an opposition with Saturn in Pisces at 26 degrees and 59 minutes, arc minutes, Now, this is, interesting. Now, it's interesting because within 30 minutes, Venus over moves a degree and Saturn moves into a different degree. So it's only exact for like a quick second, which is so interesting. It's making me think that the critical and grounded quality of our detailed analysis and of how we love and beautify our values has tension with why we are structuring our beliefs around our divine natures while simultaneously not giving into the illusions through the discipline. And underneath this tension is an energy of sustainable truth. However, this tension happens only for a brief second. It's like you can miss the opportunity to bring positive energy and harmony into the tension if you are not paying attention. Okay? Today would be a good day to remain consciously aware of what's occurring around you and within you all day long. Okay? So we don't miss the opportunity to heal. I will say that later, that late night, there is a challenge between the communication and emoting the truth and overstanding to the population that I spoke about at the beginning of this video will be challenged by the same structure of beliefs that I just mentioned. Rewind that if you got to hear that again. Almost as if our hearts are like, hey, here is the tension, and then late night we are like, okay, now there's a challenge with overstanding what to think about those beliefs and how do I control and utilize them properly and to the advantage of myself and for the health of people around me, right? Today is Saturday, so I actually think that most people will be awake for these trends because people be awake in the Western Hemisphere and society and cities and shit. Late night, Friday night, anyway. So I just Googled what events occurred today while I was writing the script, and today is a National Coming Out Day. I think that those in the Elemental P community will have a more interesting time with this transit. While you are out doing parades and being a whole lot of people, there's a lot out there. So there's more opportunity for the planets to express themselves through you all. Now, I don't know why, but I think something may happen on this day, and we may even hear something about the government shutdown on this day and how it is affecting the monetary system. We shall see. Now, energy themes of the week in this bitch. This week has the energy of war and divisiveness and sneaky motherfuckers. All right? I know that this will not be everyone's reality, and that's why this week to me is interesting. I know that there are two sides to every coin. However, like I said earlier, I really think that we are about to see the shift into whom is going to be the new 1% in finances, thought, mentality, strength, etc. versus everyone else, right? The shift, I think, is about to expand exponentially shortly here, coming soon. If not this week, right? Be on your A++ game, right? 98%, 99%. It's not the time to be slacking on how you want to live your life, y'all. If you are not paying yourself with your own attention and instead paying others with your attention, you are not doing it right. Love yourself and give yourself the energy you need to make your dreams come true. If you don't, you gonna miss it. Miss it, my nigga. You gonna miss it, twin. Now, rising signs. Aries to Pisces. You already know how we do it. Aries. Now, y'all popped out last week and it showed me some love. Yeah, y'all's videos had the most likes, the most comments, and the most views out of all my videos last week. Right? And that's why y'all are authentically number one. Now, let's see if we can keep that streak up going this week. Will you keep the number one spot? We shall see. Now, number one spot. Head ass, ludicrous head ass. Anyway, now, this Mercury ingress into Scorpio is happening in your 8th house, okay? I would really look into those who may be on their last stretch in their life, right? If you know people who are dying or people who are sick, etc., you may hear from them. If not, contact them first and give them some love, right? You may also get some news about some investments. You may potentially, your ability to process deep, dark, and sinister communication styles and tactics may be upgraded for a second as well. You may even be the one starting to use these tactics on people. I think the utilization of these tactics will actually go towards Virgo, but anyone can get these hands for. In all seriousness, do look into contacting your loved ones. Keep me updated in the comments. Taurus. This Mercury ingress is occurring in your 7th house. Man, so now, this is your relationship house, all right? Business, personal, romantic, all that jazz, right? People close to you may start moving different. They might start talking more sly around you, all right? This isn't something you are not used to because Scorpio is your 7th house, right? However, when Mercury goes in there, it creates the ability for those feelings to be communicated more openly, right? So that you can hear how people really feel about you, about other subjects, and about life in general. This could also be an opportunity for someone to speak healing life into you, right? As Scorpio is one of the best healers in the zodiac. Definitely top 3 in my book, right? That's my opinion. This experience may be very intense and have you breaking down in tears. If not tears, you would feel it because it will hit so deep. Now, of course, this can occur differently for everyone. However, the theme of communication and processing deep, pure, and intense situations regarding all types of relationship, laws, and political stances are apparent this week. And until Mercury leaves Scorpio, which occurs in early November, so about 3-4 weeks from now, right? Gemini. Gemini, this Mercury ingress into Scorpio is occurring in your 6th house. You're going to be processing a deep, pure, and intense lifestyle. Okay, with Mars going through Scorpio before Mercury, your lifestyle, health, and your routine has probably been hectic, and you may not be sure why or how. With Mercury coming behind Mars, this is your ability to put into words how this part of your life has been transformed. This will also help you be able to think about and analyze how you heal from this newfound harsh energy you have recently received, okay? Let me know how this goes for you, Gemini, in the comments. Cancer. This Mercury retrograde ingress is occurring in your 5th house. Now, Cancer, when Mars went into this house, I told you all, hey, be careful with being a hoe and pussy popping on a handstand behavior. I told y'all this, all right? And some of y'all in the comments were like, hey, it's too late. Now, this ingress is when you will be able to communicate and analyze the decisions you have done. I hope you have not done too much whole behavior to where you regret it. If you did, well, this transit may be a little more difficult. You may get some news that, you may have a contract or something, or the decision you made is slapping you in the face now. All right? Let me know how that turns out for you, Cancer, in the comments below. And I hope it could turn out good. I hope it does. Leo, this Mercury ingress into Scorpio is occurring in your 4th house. Now, you may be getting some news from your mother shortly that may seem dark. It could be healing within the next 30 days, right? You may get some healing or dark news from home. I know that it's a strange dichotomy. However, both can play out, or either or can play out, right? It depends on your specific chart. Just pay attention and use your intuition within the home or with family members. The news you get may surprise you. Keep me updated in the comments. Virgo, this Mercury ingress in Scorpio is occurring in your 3rd house. Your siblings may give you some news about something, or you may learn a skill that you want to learn or have applied for is coming in or gotten rejected. You may experience, you may experience that a car or a bike suddenly gives you some truth about what its pure function is and how you have been fucking it up, and now you have to fix it. If you plan on taking a short trip or vacation somewhere by way of car, train, or something that is not international, you may find out that something prevents you from going or creates an environment to where you must speak on something in order to get the qualifications to go. Maybe you didn't read the fine print. If you got in a fight with a neighbor, you may experience a sit down and talk about it with them for a moment. You know what I'm saying? It could play out many different fucking ways. Right? That is dependent on your chart. This Mercury ingress lasts until the beginning of November, so be on the lookout. Let me know what happens in the comments. Libra. This Mercury ingress is occurring in your 2nd house. Now, you may be getting an influx of money, Libra. Money, 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 money. Anyway, potentially you may get some news that, hey, the investments you made have come through. Now, this may also express itself in the opposite way of the value you inputted into yourself or business endeavor has transformed and is now not a viable asset and you lost money. Either or can play out, right? Over the next month, pay attention to your capital and your money and your cash flow and make sure that you are making proper investments, reading the fine print and crossing your T's and dotting your I's because you know it's in your money house. It's in your money house, so careful. Let me know what happens in the comments. Scorpio, this Mercury ingress is occurring in your house, your first house. Now, you may feel more talkative coming up here shortly, Scorpio. Your ability to process information about your originality, your authenticity, wow, that's crazy. Your authenticity and your ability to assert yourself is getting a boost. You may get some news about your body or see something on your body that is your body's way of communicating with you. If you get a pimple out of nowhere or a strange feeling in your leg, don't ignore it. It's your body's way of communicating with you. Now, this is not to promote fear, it's just to keep you aware. Also, you may be the culprit that has been causing the ruckus in the world lately, so please go easy on the Scorpio because the world needs some loving. Use your healing energy, please. Let me know what happens in the comments below. Sagittarius, this Mercury ingress is occurring in your 12th house. 21. Yeah, it's like no. I know that with Mars in your 12th house, your dreams have been more intense, or you may feel upset and lethargic and just like out of it for no reason, right? Hold on. Hibiscus. And rosemary. You may have started to go back to an addictive behaviors, etc. With Mercury coming into the mix, you may get some messages from your dreams. If you do not have a dream journal, this is one of the best times to get one because with Mercury being the messenger and it's riding through your dream house, right? The chances of you getting some life-altering and frequency-shifting messages from your dreams is high. So, please go get a dream journal and start writing down your dreams these intuitive hits that you receive right, throughout the day. You may find that you have answers that you will need later on, okay? Let me know what happens in the comments below. Capricorn. This Mercury ingress is occurring in your 11th house. You are probably going to get a message from a friend that is going to transform your entire life. Well, at least it may feel that way. It may be someone telling you that you did a good job for something, giving you your flowers. This may also be a more negative, and you might hear something that can bring your mood down or something that can cause you to become more ruthless, right? Especially with Mars and Scorpio. I'm not sure which one will play out. However, I will say be on the lookout to get a message or an email or a telegram or a DM from a friend or from someone in the community, possibly regarding giving props and or an award or a very intense you can't sit with us type of vibe. All right. Let me know in the comments below, Cap, on how that goes for you. Aquarius. Aquarius, this Mercury ingress occurs in your 10th house. If you put in a job application, you may hear back from it. Okay? Or if you're looking for a job, this is probably a good time to go apply to shit, right? Putting yourself out there is great as far as your career goes and how you want to be seen in the world. A boss may come and talk to you about something, maybe about misbehavior or maybe good behavior, But potentially a father figure or someone who has authority in your life is going to hit you up about some intense news. Not sure what it is. However, be on the lookout for all this. Let me know how it happens for you, Aquarius, in the comments below. Pisces. Last but not least, Pisces. This Mercury ingress is occurring in your 9th house. A mentor of yours may be mentoring you right now like crazy. All right. You may be getting some love slaps because of something that you did, and now they are like chastising you. Lovingly, of course. At least I hope. You don't want no bitter teacher. For real. or jealousy, Joe. No, none of that, right? If you are awaiting a document from a court case or something involving justice, especially if it's like a drug charge or something, something dark like that, you may hear back from it within the next 30 days. It's a good opportunity for you to be more vocal about your philosophical thoughts, at least if you have the desire to, which with Mars in the same house, you probably do. If you want to write a book about your thoughts, or even if you don't want to write one, this would be a good time to write out your thoughts and organize them. This may be useful for people across the globe, right? If you frame it in a way that the majority of the population can actually understand. With this aspect being a trine to your first house, I can see this energy being a very free-flowing energy without that much need for trying to make something come about, right? It would just happen. Let me know how that goes for you, Pisces, in the comments below. In conclusion, the government shutdown is bringing interesting energy to the globe, all right? Because what happens in America affects the entire motherfucking world. These transits are making it clear that there are definitely two sides to every coin, and that this world is being split in real time. Okay, I know I keep saying that, right? But that is because it's happening, and I really want everyone listening to be able to see that and take action, because you ain't got much time, my nigga. Remember, you are the creator of your own reality, and you can co-create with the stars and the universe to bring forth and into this third dimension the life that you want to live. Put in the work, make it work, and make it uniquely you. Now, like I said, thank you guys for commenting, subscribing, liking, following, do all the extra shit. Thank you so much. Go to my website, haloreadings.net. Join me in the Discord. You know what I'm saying? I put a whole bunch of stuff in the Discord that I don't put nowhere else. With that being said, I appreciate y'all so much, man. Like, you don't know. Peace out.
Couple band, this is PC in my hand. Lethal shooter, make them overstand. Half court, full court, state court, magistrate court, beat the light. Nigga, who is you? Cause I forgot hit the roof and I go cool, cock a ride.